All-Star Western number 12, written by Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti, art by Moritat. Last issue left off with the gang getting captured by the religion of crime, but then Tallulah ended up escaping, and everyone's freaking out because she's gone. This issue picks up, same exact place, but everyone's now scouring the ground looking for Tallulah, and everyone who doesn't know her is like, what's the big deal? I mean, she's just one girl. How bad could you be? And then we see her going on a murderous rampage with like daggers and axes. And she goes after a few crooked cops who were chasing after him. And then once she manages to get the kill on them, she steals their guns and then just starts firing wildly. I believe this one woman here is the whatever of crime or of thievery or stealing or whatever. So they get into a little bit of a knife versus gunfight and start fighting that out. So then we cut back to Jonah Hex, who is down next to this big machine, and they're just like, oh, well, sounds like it's very noisy upstairs. And they're like, whatever. Like, regardless, nobody's going to be able to find you to save you. Like, we're going to kill you here. And then Jonah reveals that, like, oh, well, here's the thing. Maybe I talked to Mr. Alan Wayne about this stuff. And so we see that a couple nights earlier when they met up, because that was in the book, immediately some of the Crime Bible people showed up with guns to attack Wayne, and Jonah basically protected him. And they got into a big gunfight over all of Wayne's properties. And then Wayne showed that he was able to defend himself. He pulled out a gun, and he shot one of the guys escaping in the back of the knee in order to get some info from him. And basically they started asking, like, hey, who are you here for? And he's like, oh, I'm here with the Crime Bible, and blah, blah, blah. And they basically figured out that these people are coming after Wayne because he is higher up. He is someone who controls a bunch of wealth and land in Gotham, and so he needs to be taken off the table. So they also figure out that Bennett is part of the Crime Bible. Like, they definitely confirm it. And so Jonah tells him, like, look, stay out of it. Do your own thing. Like, I don't want you involved in this, but use your power and your money and everything like that in order to make this place better, make Gotham a better place. Because right now it's a terrible place to live. So anyway, cut back to the present. Knife fight with Tallulah and the one lady's going on. And Tallulah basically gets her down on the ground and presses her thumbs into her eye sockets. And that ends that fight. But then as that's going on, we see that the Waynes and a couple of actually good police officers have arrived on the scene, and they're ready to storm the building. So we cut back down into the basement where Jonah and Amadeus are being held, and Amadeus is just like losing his mind at this point. He's like, all of you say you're such religious fanatics and whatever, but like literally you are the worst, because the whole reason that we got religion and like became societies in the first place was to get out of this stupid crime-filled, like horrible way of life. Like, we came together as people in order to stop being you. And she's just like, shut up, I'm gonna kill you now. And before he does, the Tallulah shoots off the fingers of the guy that was gonna kill him. And we see that the Waynes and all the good cops have come down into the basement, and they've arrived to save the day. So everyone's taken off to jail. He needs to go to jail. And it's said that Wayne, he looked into Bennett's properties and all the other people, and they realized this is probably the place that this Crime Bible stuff will be going on. So they decided to come here and get them. And it just happened, happy accident that Hex managed to be saved at this point. So at this point, Tallulah needs some bandaging up. A few hours have passed. And they basically make their point that Tallulah wants to leave. She's done with the town. But Jonah's still not quite done yet. He doesn't want to leave. He makes this thing saying that he doesn't want to leave with Tallulah. He doesn't want to have to spend his time looking after her or whatever. So they get into a fight and immediately switch over to making out on Amadeus' table, to which his mother wakes up and is like, is that a woman downstairs? But they're basically deciding, okay, maybe it's time Tallulah goes her separate ways. But before they do, the people of the Crime Bible have been hanged in Gotham. Mayor Cobblepot has made sure that they don't survive. And then a man comes from far away. His name is Mr. Forsyth, and he's come looking for Hex and Arkham because he's heard about their adventures and what they've been doing, and he wants to speak in private. Tallulah jumps in saying, "Oh, well, I'm still part of the group. Let's see what you got." And he says, "Well, I come on behalf of my master, my Scottish doctor that I work for. His name is Dr. Jekyll." Dun, dun, done. So, yeah, we're getting a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde story, I guess, next. That'll be interesting. I like it. I think it's good. It's not... I don't know. They built up this whole thing about 2-3 issues ago of Court of Owls versus Crime Bible. And then they just kind of forgot the Court of Owls part, and they didn't make Crime Bible interesting. Like... they had this whole thing set up of like, oh, this is the Lord of Thievery, and this is the Lord of Terrorism, and this is the, this, that, and the other thing. But then they were just like, okay, but they're just going to not do those things. And instead, they're just going to kidnap the three stooges and like torture them. And that's the thing now. And I'm like, is that really our villain? Is that what we're doing? And then there's not even the whole battle for Gotham's soul between the Court of Owls anymore. It's just kind of brought up and then immediately dropped. I don't know. It seemed like missed opportunities abound to me. It seemed like they set up a bunch of stuff and then we're just like, yeah, but we're tired of that now. So we're just going to move on to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because why not? And they didn't even make it the possibility that these people could come back. Like, they're not in jail. They're dead. They were hanged. The bodies are there. So I don't know what more we can do with that. Anyway, still a good issue, though. I did like how they wrapped up a couple things there. I like how Tallulah is being treated as, like, the third member of the group. She was introduced very nicely in terms of making it believable that that was something that would come from the character of her just wanting to stick around. So I give it a 7. As much as I wish they would have given more attention to it, that's not an individual issue's fault. That's an arc on a whole, and I'm rating the issue, so I give it a 7. I do wish that they would have done more with it, but leaving it off here, I'm at least satisfied that the Crime Bible stuff was dealt with, at least in some capacity. So, see what happens in the 0 issue afterwards, but for this one, it's perfectly good.